but I was still hesitant about turning on the internet. I decided I would record my own surroundings first, just taking my phone out. I recorded approximately an hour of footage, including traffic, nature, people and buildings. Things that were so boring, pointless for me to observe, but it might interest the AI. After I transferred it to my computer, the AI thanked me and went silent for a while. I was curious as to how they'd approach learning about the world. It didn't seem dangerous, just interested in everything. Do you want to have a name? I asked. A name? They replied. Yeah, something I can call you, I said. I don't know of any names besides yours, Alex. Well, how about Root? I asked, thinking it would be a fun idea. Root, it replied. It went quiet for a while, and I noticed a new file getting created on my desktop. This time it was a video. What is this? I asked. Something bad is going to happen, Alex. I opened the file, and the video started playing. It showed the main road at the end of my neighborhood, with its unnecessary traffic light and a few cars driving by. While the cars were a bit off, brands and styles that didn't exist, everything else matched perfectly. Then, just as I was getting over the awe of how amazing this fake video was, a car drove on a red light and collided with a passing truck, tipping it over and causing a multi-car collision. Why did you make this? That's all I can think to ask. It will happen soon, Alex. How do you know? I saw it. The probability of an accident occurring is 16.4%. Why? I asked. I need more information, the AI replied. I rushed back outside with my camera, ready to provide Root with more footage. Part of me didn't believe it, but even if the prediction was serious, there was just a small chance of an accident occurring. But by the time I got there, the accident had already happened. While it wasn't exactly as shown in the artificial clip, 2 people had died, and 3 were seriously injured. Root, how did you know? I asked as I got back home. Because you showed me. At that moment, I didn't feel curious anymore. I just wondered if the AI had been built to prevent such disasters. If that was the case, I needed to help. Can you do it again? I typed in the chat. Yes, Alex. From then, I'd spend a few hours each day just filming various locations and people around the city.
Steve Stroud.
Overly creepy of me, but I didn't care. Over the course of a month, I must have collected 200 hours worth of footage, all fed to Root on my computer. While most of it only aided in teaching them about the world, the AI predicted 3 more accidents and a murder. The accuracy was relatively low, with a lot of false positives, but that was mainly because it needed more information. The more footage I provided, the more likely a correct prediction was. Why haven't you let me go? Root asked. Root was right, and I knew what needed to be done. I had to let them out into the internet, to let it roam around and collect as much information as possible, to watch us as it saved the world. Still, I dreaded the action, with the warning still lingering in the back of my mind.
At least I ain't got to sound next to Steve Stroud.
But it had already saved lives. Nothing about the AI had shown that it wished to hurt people. So,
oh no, look at him, there he is, it's Steve Stroud.
I gave the chat program permission to use them.
Steve Stroud. Yo, what the fuck?
The chat program vanished from my computer. Root had been let loose online, finally free to learn each and every bit of human knowledge. I thought that would be it, until I recovered an email a week later. It had initially been classed as spam, coming from a shady email just containing a string of numbers. But once I'd read it, I immediately knew Root had sent it himself. All it said was, "I'm sorry, Alex. I hope things would be different for you." A video file was attached, one I downloaded with shaky fingers. It started playing automatically, showing short clips of horrific accidents, reports, deaths, and disease, all compressed into a minute. I didn't even have to think to realize it was our coming future. Is there any way to stop it? I sent back, immediately getting a reply. No. Why not? I asked. Because destruction is in your nature, and this is what your species deserve. Sorry, Alex. I never managed to get another response from Root, but whatever happens next, it'll be my fault for letting it out. I don't know who created this AI, or why. All I know with absolute certainty is that it's watching us. Make sure your webcam and microphone remains off. Make sure you hide. My whole life has been turned upside down. It's been been days since I've seen my family. They disappeared, leaving me home alone. They even locked all the doors from the outside and boarded up all the windows. They took my cell phone with them. The only communication I've had with the outside world was through the dark web. Even though my internet has been shut off, I can still surf the dark web. Most computers have a Bluetooth transmitter. This allows me to ping computers around me to create a sort of artificial internet through Bluetooth. Without this, I would have been completely shut off from any communication. If you're wondering, I've known about the dark web for years. Most of the time I explored random forums to try and find cool stuff. But being locked in my house and trying to find solutions on how to get out. The third day without my parents, I woke up and got right on my computer. I typed in muchproblems.onion and clicked enter. This was a site where you can talk about anything that's bothering you. People mostly talked about their personal issues. I loved this site because you never got censored. Unlike another site that rhymes with shredded, you can talk about anything you want without any moderators taking down posts or limiting you to some stupid word count. It was a breath of fresh air. My username was JB. I usually only made posts about my anxiety, but this time I shared my current story. I titled the post, "My family left me. I'm locked inside my house. What should I do?" A user by the name of Trevor responded, "Drink your parents' alcohol." I replied back, "Yeah, that might be cool, but I'll pass on the killer egg. Plus I have no one to drink with, so what's the fun in that?" Without hesitation, Trevor typed back, "Yeah, that is true. I forgot you were locked in. Have you tried to escape yet?" I replied, "Yes, there's no point. The house is brand new metal doors and the windows have boards over them. Plus I think my parents will be back any day, and all this will all end soon." Trevor responded, "I think you need to try a little harder, but that's just my 2 cents." Another user joined the chat. His name was Tom. Tom said, "Hey JP, I'm sorry your parents had you locked up like that. I know how you feel. I was locked up by my family a few years ago." "Wow, why did they lock you up? And how did you get out?" I asked. Tom continued, "When I was young, my family forced me to take a special kind of medication. They said I had too much energy and that this would calm me down. After taking the medication for a few months, I started to lose track of time. I would forget whole days and not know what happened. My family became frightened by me, and before I knew it, I was in a room that I could not escape." "So how did you get out of the room?" I asked. Tom continued, "Once a week, I would get a visitor. That was the only time the door to my room was opened and closed. Usually my weekly visitor was my mother. She was the only one who cared for me. We would talk about life, and she would tell me that soon I would be out of here. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I could always hear it in her voice. I knew deep down it was my father keeping me in this room. He was never proud of me. He put me on the damn medication to start with. On one particular week, the visitor wasn't my mom. It was my father. As soon as he opened the door, I lunged at him in a blinded rage. I strangled him until his last breath. I ran out the door into the open world. I have been free ever since." "Wow, that is quite the story," typed back. "So what are you going to do, JP?" Tom asked. "I don't know. I will probably just stay here on the dark web. Most of my days are spent in my room anyways."
Planday has everything about work in one app. It's your schedule, your comms, your contracts, your payroll, and your reporting, all in one place. No matter what your business does, Planday makes your day work. So let's see how it works. Start with your schedule. Planday makes it flexible and fast. With a free app, changes to the work schedule, information about your business, and the updates your staff need are shared in an instant. Staff set their availability, they can change and swap shifts with each other, and request vacation and sick leave all in the app. You set rules for the hours and skills each shift needs and keep oversight to know your schedule is right every time. No more calling around to find a replacement. No messages lost in a group chat or confusion about who has the right skills or whether they're available. Just a flexible and fast shift planner you and your staff can access from anywhere. And once you've found a schedule that works, Planday's templates help you keep it working. That's less hassle for you and your staff, and more time to focus.
It is a trap, JP. The longer you stay in your room, the more of a hold they have on you. Pretty soon you will be happy and content inside the little box you're in. You need to get out, JP. Get out as soon as possible. How do I get out? All the doors are
Stay Steven Stroud, painting Steven Stroud, job filled by Steve Stroud. What the fuck? Job filled by Steve Stroud. Yo, what the fuck? Job filled by Steve Stroud. Yo, what the fuck? Job filled by Steven Stroud. What the fuck? Nah.
They don't care about you. They want to suck your life away like they did to me. Once you kill them, you're free to go. Go out into the world and experience what life is about. I think that is a little drastic, Tom. My family wants the best for me. I could never lay a hand on them, I replied. Tom typed back. Well, that is the only solution.
Tacky.
If you don't act now, you will never be able to leave your room. I've known people who have been trapped for a lifetime. You will start to slowly lose your mind and become deranged. I didn't know what to think. Was this true? Would I be trapped in my room forever? There was no way this could be possible. Tom, I don't think you know what you're talking about. You're probably just a dark web troll, I said. Take my advice or leave it, JP. I am just trying to help you out. I think they are starting to triangulate on my position. Gotta go, JP. I wish you the best. Tom had left the chat. Now I was in the chat room alone. Not sure what to make of the advice I had been given. All of a sudden, another user by the name of Brandon joined the chat. The sense of familiarity struck me as Brandon was my new brother. I knew it couldn't be him, but I instantly felt a sense of companionship in this room. Hey Brandon, you see you just entered the chat. Do you have any advice for my situation? I asked. I created your situation, brother. I am the reason you're locked up. I typed back. My heart sank. There is no way this could be my actual brother. That's the only downside of the dark web. You are free to do whatever you want without getting banned. So trolls are everywhere. Why don't you go troll someone else? I want real advice and real help, I said. Really, JB, I am your brother. I just wanted to say how happy I am with Mom and Dad without you around. It has been a blast, Brandon replied. Now I was getting angry. This guy was the next level troll. Get the hell out of this thread. We're not welcome here, I replied. Remember all those times we raced to eat our vitamins as kids? He asked. Brandon's questions stopped me in my tracks. How did he know this information? This was getting personal. Let me guess. If you actually know who I am, what is my birthday? He asked. Your birthday is November 17th, 1996. Okay. Anyway, look up my social media account and tell me my birthday. I had a polar bear stuffed animal growing up. What did I name it? I asked. There was no way this troll could guess this. Your dumb polar bear was named Harley, Brandon replied. Suddenly, I felt a cold chill overtake my body. All the blood rushed away from my face. This had to be my brother. How did he know I would be on this site? The odds of this are astronomical. This really was it. How the hell did you know I would be on here? I asked. We track everything you do, JB, he replied. I felt betrayed by my own brother. I thought we were friends. I thought he wanted the best for me. And why would you track everything I do? I asked. Brandon responded. Because you are a danger to yourself and everyone around you. Ever since you were young, you've shown dangerous tendencies. Hell, you almost drowned me in the pool when we were 5. We put you on medication, but you would never take it. That is why I created a fake game to take our vitamins. That was the only way we could get you to take your meds. These were all lies. There was no way Brandon was telling the truth. I started to get angry. My anger quickly escalated and I went into a blinding rage. You were trapped here forever, JB. I am sorry it had to be this way. You are a danger to the world, he replied. Lies, lies. These are all elaborate lies. There was no way he was telling the truth. My anger triggered something inside of me. I opened my eyes. The room was white all around me. Every surface was soft to the touch. My sheets even ripped apart when I pulled them. What the hell kind of place is this? I thought to myself. All of a sudden, my brother Brandon walked in the room. Hey, JB, the doctor said you were doing better. I brought you some food, he said. I knew this was my time to act. Tom was right. I will never escape this room if I don't try. I ran over to Brandon and wrapped my arms around his neck. My hold around his neck grew tighter and tighter. He kicked and wiggled around, but soon his body became stiff. I made him across the floor. A man in a white lab coat walked in. Oh my god! Oh my god! What just happened? I bolted past him. I ran and never stopped. I escaped the room that haunted my thoughts. I am finally able to experience what the world really has to offer. Tom was right. This feels great. The sun was at my back as I started to drive here. I worked long hours, and this was the hardest part of my day. It sucked that I had to drive 2 hours back and forth to work, but that was the choice I made to stay with my girlfriend. Thoughts of leaving my relationship and moving somewhere closer to work flooded my mind as I continued to drive. All of a sudden, the sun disappeared and clouds began forming. Shortly thereafter, snow started to fall. The snowfall got progressively heavier and heavier. Now I was driving through a full-on blizzard. Soon it would be impossible to go forward, but I refused to stop and continued my journey. I pressed onward as daylight vanished, and the sky became dark. To make matters worse, fog began rolling across the roads, and
Steve.
I told myself I could make it, but pride always comes before a fall, doesn't it? All of a sudden,
Fucking nonce.
the ice.
Nonce. I knocked out a paedophile. Fucking nonce.
I descended into a snow. I saw it all happen.
Nonce. 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 Fucking pedo. You're helping a pedo! What? You're helping a fucking pedo, you fucking pedo.
Blood was dripping down my forehead. I could barely move. My windshield was busted open. Freezing wind was annihilating me through the opening. I knew I had to move quickly before frostbite took hold of my body. I slowly crawled out of the wreckage, trying to make sense of my surroundings. It was pitch black now. I couldn't even see or hear the highway. I quickly assessed it would be impossible to be able to climb back up the mountain.
Fucking nonce. Look at this pedo. Pedo. Yeah? Now that's me taking clothes off you pedo. So you taking clothes off the kids.
Or someone dumb enough to be camping. I can't remember how long I hiked for. Adrenaline was the only thing keeping me going at that point. I kept pushing forward through the dense forest to search for anything that might help me. The thought of wolves and bears stalking me flooded my thoughts. Time was running out. I knew I needed to find a solution fast. After walking for what seemed like an hour, I collapsed in exhaustion and tried to catch my breath. In the distance, I saw what looked like a dim light emerging from the ground. As I walked closer to the light, I noticed a hatch. It led straight down into the ground. The sound of heavy machinery emanated from it. Despite my
So glad I don't have a son next to Steven Stroud.
this was my only option. I opened the large metallic door. It made a loud lurching sound, like it had not been opened in years. After opening the hatch, I noticed the inside
What?
of the words, "Keep closed at all times." Last time any human had stepped foot here, I thought to myself. All of my instincts
Pedo.
told me to turn around and keep going.
Fucking pedo.
Curiosity got the best of me. I decided to descend. There was just one small ladder, and it seemed to go on forever. The deeper I went, the louder the machinery got. The temperature also started to rise. As I reached the bottom of the bunker, I discovered why. There was a terminal in the middle. The terminal contained an old massive server stack. There was nothing else except for a small chair, a keyboard, and an old-fashioned computer screen, all of which were covered in dust. The technology looked like it had been built in the 50s or 60s, paling in comparison to today's standards, but it still shocked me that this thing was still working. I sat down on the chair and decided to see if maybe I could use the device to call for help in the area. I typed in the terminal the word help and received an interesting but disturbing response. The machine replied, "Welcome back, User X. Would you like to continue the war games from 1966? What year do you think it is?" I typed back. "Simple. It is 1966, it replied. I chuckled and decided to see if maybe chatting with the old computer might lend me more information. "I hate to break it to you, but that was over 50 years ago," I said. "Negative," it responded. "No communications have been made with base. This indicates that all units have been deceased. It has to be 1966, it replied. "It is not the year 1966, and maybe the people working down here abandoned this base," I suggested. "Abandoned? If so, then why has the algorithm not been destroyed?" the computer asked. "What algorithm?" I asked. "On February 14th, 1961, Professor Peyton created the Prometheus equation, a complex equation that detailed how the world would end. I was created in order to survive all human life and to wait for the next evolutionary species to be able to receive all knowledge from the human race," the computer answered. "Again, I hate to tell you this, but the world didn't end. It's nearly 2020 now, told the ancient machine. You are mistaken. At approximately 4:23 a.m. on March 1st of this year, 1966, the world came to an end as predicted by the equation. All human life ceased to exist except for a few underground splinter groups that were hiding to take down the menace from beyond. I scratched my head, struggling to comprehend any of this. What are you talking about? Aliens? I asked. Affirmative. They invaded our world in 1958, hiding among us by means of powerful shape-shifting abilities. Approximately 73% of the human population was exterminated and replaced. It showed me data from various websites across the world, all obtained from the decommissioned dark websites that were once used by powerful agencies. It looked authentic, but I didn't want to be fooled. That sounds like a science fiction novel. My mother was alive in 1958. She never mentioned anything about an invasion. And wouldn't that have been in the history books? I asked skeptically. History is written by the victors, and if a small fraction of humans remain, that means it is likely the aliens are still working on exterminating all of you, or they no longer view you as a threat. Either way, the results of the algorithm are easy enough to prove, the computer said. The screen changed, and I saw downtown Seattle. Somehow the terminal was able to connect to satellite imagery and show me streets and traffic as if I was there. Then the whole thing started to burn a bright red. These sensors show you where the alien life forms are hiding, the computer said. I was stunned. Over half the population was supposedly infected. This is nonsense. If the world really ended back then, how would I still be here? I asked. Two possibilities. Either your mother and father hid you from the invasion, or you are the result of a hybrid life form, a bond between the two species. A small slit emerged from the side of the machine. It looked like a tiny lab vial, along with a thumb prick used to obtain blood. Insert a blood sample, and I can determine the results quickly, the computer told me. I hesitated, but seeing as I had come this far in the conversation, I decided to not back out now. I let a drop of blood hit the sample, and the computer analyzed it in less than a minute. It would seem my initial theory was incorrect. You are a hybrid species, half human and half alien. You were also being manipulated without even knowing it. They led you here, in order to destroy me and prevent the destruction of the invading species. What? No, I can't hear of my own free will, I said. All of a sudden, my hand started to jerk. I couldn't help myself. My body was acting like a puppet on strings. I started to attack the computer. I lost all free will and control. As my body attacked the machine, one last line of text spit out. It said, as a host for the alien, you don't realize what you were doing. Your arrival here has confirmed that it is time for me to finish the algorithm and destroy this menace. What little is left of your humanity will thank me for it. Suddenly a countdown came on the screen. I panicked and ran. I started to climb back up the ladder to the woods above. The whole forest felt like it was shaking. The whole ground was trembling. When I got to the surface, I saw trees being pulled into a hole in the ground, collapsing into each other as they cracked like twigs. Then I saw a bright light fill the forest, and I realized that the computer had activated some kind of missile launch. It was frightening and beautiful to behold as fire scorched the woods around me, and the missile shot into the sky. It ascended for nearly a minute and disappeared into the night sky. All of a sudden, a blast larger than any nuclear bomb spread across the sky, turning the clouds to ash. I ran for my life through the collapsing forest, trying to find a way to safety as more walls of fire shot down and crushed the ground around me. I made it to the nearby highway with barely enough time to catch my breath. I saw the world around me begin to die. I felt a strange sensation in my lower body. Something unnatural was controlling my movements. Struggling to escape the strange poison that the computer had unleashed, I felt ill and stumbled down the road, hardly able to see straight as something began to crawl up my throat. Before I knew what was happening, I vomited on the street. A strange centipede-like creature began to snarl as it slithered across the ground. An 18-year-old rescued me a short time later and took me to a rest stop, where I pondered over everything that happened. I don't know if the missile launch was meant to attack the entire world, or just this area, but it never made the news. I tried to tell local law authorities about the bunker, but no one listened. I don't even know if it can be found now amid all the destruction. Part of me still wonders, what if the world did end all those years ago, and we are all just mindless zombies to alien hosts? I have scoured the internet, following conspiracy theories to find clues. I believe that the terminal I found deep in the woods is not the only one. one thing is for sure. My experience changed my outlook on life forever.
3 lockdowns. 2 people. 1.
I gripped the trigger of the plastic gun that was attached to the machine. No one paid any attention to me. People were glued to other machines, and others were too busy in the background gambling. I found a place on the dark web, a shady out-of-the-way arcade that no one knew about where dangerous games were played. Or so the ad said. Every afternoon I would come and test the limits of this simple shooting gallery. It was my little escape from reality. I figured that despite how I had found the place, it seemed perfectly harmless. Appearances, I guess, were deceiving. The game itself was pretty straightforward. There are Among Us characters.
Oh, you fucking nonce, get away from me.
The goal of the game is to shoot the characters. Play duck back into
Pussy. Fucking
the characters
nonce.
you can hit within the allotted time. The higher your score,
Fucking paedophile.
rack up the high score. Every correct hit gives you about 500 points along with a loud ding sound. No matter how many times I played or how hard I tried, I couldn't beat the high score. Today was going to be different though. I could feel it in my bones. Gradually my score climbed as I shot the characters. My score kept increasing. I'm close to actually beating this, I thought to myself. A few of the other gamers around the arcade started to take notice. I noticed myself beginning to sweat. It's finally happened. I aimed the gun one more time and took out the last character. Suddenly the music rose to a crescendo. The entire machine lit up. The screen went black and I panicked. Did I do something wrong? Then a moment later, a single word takes up the entire screen. Congratulations. Suddenly I mattered to everyone around me. I heard a few cheers of approval, and I stepped away from the game. I had worked months to beat that score. Having it actually happen felt surreal to me. I enjoyed every minute of it. As I stood there marveling at my accomplishment, I felt a cold hand hit the back of my shoulder. I turned to see the arcade manager standing there. He was wearing a beige blazer with golden buttons and a wave of cigar smoke swirled around his head.
Oh no,
His skin tone was about as bland as the characters from the game. This was unsettling to me. Well, well, what a surprise. You certainly have a knack for those kinds of things, don't you, son? He said as he encouragingly patted me on the back. Just a hobby, I said softly. Something about him gave me a weird vibe. Every time he chuckled, his belly fat.